welcome to a brand new episode of the Jampack Report today for October the 15th of 2019. Of course, this is a daily gaming news podcast that keeps you up to date and informed on everything happening in the gaming industry. If you enjoy the Jampack Report, consider subscribing on YouTube if you do not already, or find the show via a podcast service of your choosing. On top of that, if you want a written version of the show, I now host the podcast on medium.com/JampackReport, where you can find a digest along with links to the show. But Fortnite is back. Congratulations to parents around the world. Your kids now have their Vice to return to, and they'll quit bugging you. But Chapter 2 is live. We will talk about the new map, the boats, and less grind, all coming to us from a pretty awesome article over at Engadget that gives you a brief breakdown of the hottest changes coming to the game. Then, Halo Infinite lead producer Mary Olson has left 343 Industries, but apparently there is no need to fear about the game, according to the community manager. Then Microsoft rolls out Xbox Swear filters. Project xCloud has gone into a preview. Nintendo's new York Overwatch Switch launch event has been canceled. Modern Warfare news, and on top of that, Overwatch's Halloween event is coming back, and I'll tell you when. Guess what? It's soon. It could even be today, but we'll get to that in just a moment. However, that is the lineup for today's show, and as always, I hope you enjoy what I bring to the table. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. Fortnite Chapter 2 is here. New map, boats, and less grind. It's time to explore the new island. The wait is over. Epic Games made its fan base stare at a black hole long enough and has decided to end its cryptic blackout and give Fortnite a huge new update, which the company is calling Chapter 2. As expected, the BR shooter features a totally new map, a ton of new skins, and a welcome makeover for the game's mechanics. Let's start with the new map. The Chapter 2 island appears to be a little more mountainous than its predecessor and features a whole bunch of new points of interest, including Camp COD, Power Plant, and Weeping Woods. There is a lighthouse included too. The island is also split by small water inlets, letting players either swim, fish, or use boats. A vehicle brand new to Fortnite to rotate around the map. Challenges were reworked towards the end of Fortnite's first chapter, but the second installment takes things even further. To advance their Battle Pass level, players can complete challenges, which includes catching fish off Sweaty Sands Pier, but also earn in-game medals by searching chests and eliminating players, with complete metal punch cards to boost in-game XP. Epic says this new season means more fun and less grind, but whether that's actually true remains to be seen. Like before, the Battle Pass is giftable and offers over 100 unlockable in-game items, but account levels now extend up to 250. As with every new season, Epic has delivered fresh skins, emotes, and guns. Many of them are highlighted in the Chapter 2 cinematic and Battle Pass videos embedded inside the article. If you missed them, there are a couple of new shotguns and an additional sniper rifle for those who like to inflict damage from a distance. However, Epic says it has streamlined weapon arrays to balance the game. If that wasn't enough, players can heal their squad with the new bandage bazooka, carry their downed teammates to safety, and even upgrade weapons at the new upgrade bench using their materials. Epic has also included more explodable elements like gas tanks and barrels, while allowing players to hide in haystacks and dumpsters to get the drop on their rivals. Solo, duo, and squad playlists are also back, but trios have progressed from arena to become a default option inside the main game. Great for teams that can't find a fourth. And so that's a brief rundown of everything that you can find in the newest season of Fortnite Battle Royale. And I will say that I have watched a couple of streams here and there briefly, and I must admit that it might have actually lived up to the hype. That was my main concern going into the new chapter, is that after being offline for roughly 40-ish hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, Fortnite wouldn't be able to live up to the expectations set by literally taking your game off the face of the earth for a while, when it is literally the pinnacle of gaming in terms of how much attention it is being given. But if you do want to dive in, the update is free, of course. Fortnite itself is free. You can get the Battle Pass if you would like to earn more in-game cosmetics. But overall, it seems like people are pretty happy with the new update. Of course, as time goes on, I'm sure people will find something to inevitably gripe about. But it is nice to see a brand new map. In my opinion, even as somebody who had stopped playing Fortnite and might have caught a stream here and there, the game was getting stale. The map was familiar, the weapons were familiar, the mechanics were familiar. It was getting to that point where it was just kind of monotonous to watch and play, and now it seems like there are new mechanics to switch things up that really could shake up not only the, of course, casual scene, but also the competitive scene as we move into more and more tournaments that will begin to use this brand new map. Exciting times for the world of Fortnite, but if you do want to dive in, again, it's free on the Epic Games store if you have a PC, or you can find it on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, mobile, as well as Xbox. However, moving on to the next topic of the day, Halo Infinite lead producer Mary Olson leaves 343 Industries. However, the community manager says there is no creative dilemma following multiple leadership departures. Halo Infinite lead producer Mary Olson is departing 343 Industries for Midwinter Entertainment, where she will take on the role of head of production. This information comes via Olson's LinkedIn page. Her departure from 343 comes after over 7 years with the studio and less than 2 months after being named executive producer for Halo Infinite upon the departure of former creative director Tim Longo. In response to concerns expressed on the Halo subreddit that Olson's departure was a sign of larger problems at 343, community manager John Junschik, oh god, I messed that up royally, issued a statement to reassure that there was no creative dilemma inside the studio and no writing on the walls. He notes that Longo's role was to make creative decisions about the game, while Olson's was to push the game to completion in time for release, meaning Olson did not replace Longo. Quote, "I would like to reassure everyone that the entire Halo Infinite team is rallying behind the game and is working hard to make sure we can execute on its vision," he said. This was a phenomenal move by the community manager. I'm saying community manager because I can barely say his name, but fantastic job nonetheless, because a lot of speculation has been going around about Halo Infinite, the state of the game, and what will actually happen when it does launch. Because although a game can be huge, like Halo Infinite, although a game can have tons of expectation put behind it, that's irrelevant. When it comes down to it, if the game isn't good, the game isn't good. We've seen that time and time again. And a lot of people were concerned whenever the lead, heads of a game are beginning to jump ship. But overwhelmingly, I think that what you have here is just more corporate shuffling. I think that when it comes down to it, people are always looking for new jobs, new opportunities. People are getting offers, and especially whenever you are high in the ranks working on a game like Halo, sometimes other things come up and you begin to kind of shift around. That is not to say that the game is going to suffer in the long run, because the team, I think, is still focused, and I will take John at his word here on Reddit that we are going to be getting a pretty awesome Halo game. I'm excited to see what the new engine brings. I'm excited to see what Project Scarlet brings. I'm excited to see what the game looks like on PC. Overall, I think Halo Infinite will be in a fine place whenever it comes time to release it sometime in 2020. But overall, if you were concerned about Mary Olson's departure, of course, Mary Olson being the lead producer of Halo Infinite, I don't think you have too much to worry about. But the big question here is, who replaced Tim Longo? I don't think that's been revealed yet, but I would love to know some insight into that one. But again, Halo Infinite should launch sometime in holiday of 2020 if it does come out on time. However, if it doesn't come out on time, you might start sending some very lewd, crude messages on Xbox Live, but Microsoft might filter those out because of a brand new Xbox swear filter that has been released to combat online toxicity. Microsoft has unveiled its brand new Xbox content filter, part of the company's continued effort to battle online toxicity. As described on Xbox News Wire, the new Xbox text filters let you customize the level of offensive content you are exposed to in private messages. This feature will be coming to user profiles, clubs, and your activity feed at a later date. You can find the Xbox content filter in the new message safety settings, which gives you 4 options against toxic content. The mature setting looks for keywords and phrases that Microsoft has determined are almost always harmful and automatically hides offensive messages which include them. The friendly setting is the lowest setting, and the automatic default on child accounts, which hides all profanity and offensive phrases. Medium is a lighter setting, which lets in common profanity while filtering out more offensive terms. And finally, the unfiltered setting lets chaos reign and lets all content through. Additional customization features are also available, which let you apply separate filters to friends and strangers. Check out the all-new filter settings in the video released below, which you can check out on your own time. But overall, good moves in my opinion. Now, for me, and again, I might be an exception here, the toxicity of online gaming has always been kind of like whenever you put the powdered sugar on top of a fine donut. That's what really drives it home. Like if you are just dominating in a game of Call of Duty. Back in the day, pretty much a confirmation of your skill was to get like 10 messages on Xbox Live saying, "Oh my God, you are such a piece." You know, like you get those little you get that little feeling where you're like, he's irritated. I like that. And so I like that, but some people don't. Of course, parents who have kids playing games wouldn't like their kid to be, you know, thrown under the bus, threatened, etc. online. And so to have these filters totally makes sense. A good move, I think, to, again, combat toxicity. And overall, I'm glad you can override it with friends because there's nothing better than getting a salty message from your friend on Xbox Live. But a good feature overall, and again, coming soon to a dashboard near you if you do want to dive in and make sure that your private messages are clean as a whistle or dirty as a hooker. I went there. Anyways, moving on, Project xCloud, Xbox game streaming preview is now live. Good to see it. You love to read it. Project xCloud is Microsoft's game streaming service to compete with Google Stadia and, to a lesser degree, PlayStation Now. It allows you to play AAA games like Gears 5 on your phone or tablet without the need to purchase an Xbox One. It's unclear what the pricing will be, but if you signed up to take part in the October public trials, you are in luck. Xbox's Phil Spencer just announced that the public preview is live. Invitations are going out right now, and other users on Reddit are also saying that they can play games on Project xCloud now. Hopefully, the input lag will be as low as the team has been advertising, but early tests showed that Project xCloud was much better than Stadia when it came to responsive controls. However, these tests should provide an even better picture. Did you sign up to take part in the Project xCloud trials? I did not because I don't have an iOS device. Or, excuse me, I don't have an Android device. Unfortunately, the preview is only out right now on Android, and you have to have a Bluetooth-compatible phone that has Bluetooth 4.0 or higher. On top of that, an Xbox controller, and there's a handy guide online that can get you all set up on exactly what you need to make sure you are ready to go. How many ads can they possibly fit on Windows Central? You've got Dell Small Business in the left and far right. Then you've got Google Store right here next to that one. You've got a giant banner for, yet again, Dell. You've got, yet again, a Microsoft Surface ad, I believe, down here. Mint Mobile up in the top right. My God. How much? They probably made $10 for me just clicking this link. Regardless, if you do want to dive into Project xCloud and check it out on your mobile device and see the tech for yourself, the preview is now live. And the good thing about the preview is you can get a taste for what you will be getting with the full release, which, to be quite fair, sells a lot of people on this kind of tech. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I got into the early test of Project Stream, which then became Google Stadia, and playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey on a Google Chrome browser ran better than it ran on my PlayStation 4. That is saying something, ladies and gentlemen. But again, out now in preview if you did want to dive in and give it a look. Or you can play Nintendo Switch, and you can play Overwatch on the Nintendo Switch, but you can't go to the event in New York because Nintendo's New York Overwatch Switch launch event has been canceled in wake of the Blizzard boycott. Blizzard has canceled its New York event meant to celebrate the release of Overwatch on Switch tomorrow at Nintendo's New York store. Fans were able to sign up for the event for free using their Nintendo accounts, with the first 150 people able to meet some of the game's voice actors. Nintendo has apologized for any inconvenience caused, despite them stating the cancellation was Blizzard's decision. Blizzard has yet to offer a statement as to why the cancellation has taken place, but if you've been keeping up with the news on the company over the last week, it's not hard to imagine why. The replies to Nintendo's tweets promoting the event were full of hashtag #StandWithHongKong and hashtag #BoycottBlizzard hashtags, referring to Blizzard's punishment of a professional Hearthstone player for showing support for Hong Kong. Overwatch has become a focal point for Blizzard fans in support of the Hearthstone player and the Hong Kong protest, who have turned Chinese Overwatch character Mei into a protest symbol in an effort to get the game banned in China. While this was a reasonably small event to cancel, BlizzCon is just around the corner, and we will be keeping a close eye on how Blizzard handles any further backlash from the Hong Kong protest. This is not as big a deal as you would think, considering that it is just a launch event at the New York Nintendo store, but at the same time, any event being canceled is still an event being canceled. And the big question for me is, if this is the trend that they're beginning to set, what's going to happen with BlizzCon? Because inevitably, it doesn't matter how many statements you put out saying, let's keep the focus on the games. It doesn't matter how many times you say, we don't need to be talking about this. Let's focus on the tournament at hand. Whatever you might people are still going to be talking about this, and BlizzCon is going to be riddled with nothing but political statements, and of course May cosplay that probably has pro-Hong Kong sentiment attached to it. And if you really think about it, they can't cancel BlizzCon. They can't really just come out and say, okay, do whatever you want at this point, because they've already gone too far back and really dug themselves into a hole here. But overall, just a really bad situation. I'm so glad that I'm not on the public relations team at Blizzard, because that is just the biggest mess I could ever imagine. I mean, how do you come out against people protesting for freedom? How does that even work? I understand the idea where you want to keep things focused on the game, but sometimes you've got to swallow that pride and say, hey, you got to do what's right from time to time. You just got to do what's right. But that is just my 2 cents on that one. If you did want to go to the Nintendo New York Overwatch Switch launch event, I am sorry to say it is not going to be happening. However, you know what is happening in a couple of weeks? Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And the dev says Infinity Ward is not working on loot boxes. Call of Duty Modern Warfare developer Infinity Ward has revealed that it's not currently working on a supply drop item. Joel Emsley, studio art director at Call of Duty Modern Warfare developer Infinity Ward, has once again taken to Reddit to dispel some of the rumors going around about how the game will be monetized post-launch. Previously, Emsley stated that Modern Warfare will offer players a direct path to earning content. Now the veteran art director has clarified even more. After all, there continues to be misinformed and incorrect info being pushed out about Modern Warfare, Emsley wrote, referring to recent leaks. What I can say right now is that we are definitely not working on any kind of supply drop or loot box system. Also, functional stuff is unlocked through gameplay. And of course, he capitalizes not working on any kind of supply drop or gameplay, stuff like that. Emsley added that more information on Modern Warfare's monetization will be released this week, so hopefully that will answer any remaining questions. It is worth noting that things always start out tame as far as the monetization goes in COD, with fluff cosmetics and other items that can all be earned through gameplay. It's only in the months following launch that things get more aggressive, which was the case with Black Ops 4. That said, some games have handled this better than others. Call of Duty World War II and Infinite Warfare have both offered players unwilling to pay for new weapons a reasonable path to earning them by playing. In other Modern Warfare news, Infinity Ward has released full detailed on the Spec Ops co-op mode, and revealed 5 sets of PC requirements if you were looking forward to downloading the game on October the 25th. But overall, good to hear. Do I believe it? That's a little iffy right there. I do believe there were a couple of leaks where some UI was updated early, and not on purpose, to show that there were some kind of loot boxes in the game at some point, and there could be more coming down the line. But as they say, the Call of Duty games do tend to start out on a pretty tame level, and then as time goes on and the attention begins to fade off of the game itself, that's when you begin to see some of the shifty microtransaction loot box gambling mechanics insert themselves into the game, because people aren't paying attention anymore, and it's only the people that are already dedicated to the game that continue to play it and that will continue to support this kind of monetization. With Modern Warfare, though, I want to believe that something is a bit different here, because quite frankly, I believe that they have been listening to the community in a big way for this specific release. And I think that Infinity Ward is the main good guy in this situation. The big question is, how will Activision react to the idea of not having loot boxes? Because quite frankly, when it comes down to it, they make cash hand over fist. I mean, even if you don't get the majority of players buying, you will have whales that come in and purchase tons and tons of loot boxes to get everything they can possibly get, because either money is no object or their credit is irrelevant in their lives. And so the big question is, will the no loot box rules stick around? According to Emsley, it looks like they aren't included as of right now, and there are no plans to include them. But that could very well change as time goes on. But knock on wood, hopefully not. However, speaking of Overwatch, which we just talked about a moment ago, if you are not boycotting Blizzard and you want to dive into the Overwatch Halloween Terror event, it starts today and runs all the way through the first part of November. Blizzard's annual Halloween-themed event for Overwatch, Halloween Terror, will return to the game on Tuesday, October the 15th. Halloween Terror 2019 will run through Monday, November the 4th, and will see the return of the wave-based cooperative mode Junkenstein's Revenge. Halloween Terror 2019 will bring with the requisite fresh batch of spooky skins, sprays, and emotes, including this unsettling new animation of Zenyatta just putting his feet on the ground, which feels wrong, but also good for him. Who am I to judge? That does sound very unsettling. Beyond the Zenyatta emote, however, Blizzard has not said much about what else Halloween Terror 2019 will add to Overwatch. Last year's version of the event, however, will added new legendary Halloween skins for characters like Sombra, Moira, Doomfist, and Wrecking Ball, as well as a haunted version of the deathmatch multiplayer map, Chateau Gilliard. Haha, nailed it. Halloween Terror also added Tracer and Bridget to the list of characters playable in Junkenstein's Revenge. They will update the post with more info, including new Halloween Terror skins, when the official update rolls out. But overall, if you do want to dive in, you can go back to Junkenstein's Revenge for, I believe, the third year in a row. And I do want to kind of riff on that for a minute. Junkenstein's Revenge is fun, but I played it in, I believe, 2017, and then I played it again in 2018, and the changes were minimal. Nothing really shifted, if I remember correctly. Now, hopefully some changes will come with 2019, but to have the same event over and over and over again, and you might add a couple of new heroes here and there, but come on, guys, let's do something new. You know, I'd love to see a different kind of event, maybe a different map with the same concept even, just something simple like that. But it's pretty much been the same thing as far as I can tell. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but that's pretty much the way that I've always read the Overwatch Halloween Terror event. But again, that returns today, October the 15th, running all the way through November the 4th. However, that rounds out today's episode of the Jampack Report. That is your daily gaming news digest. If you enjoyed today's show, drop me a like down below if you watch on YouTube. If you're on a podcast service, go ahead and leave me a rating if you enjoyed the show. Or if you didn't, let me know what I could do better. I would appreciate that as well. If you want to check out the show's digest format on medium.com/Jampack Report, that will be up shortly after the show is. And, of course, as always, have a phenomenal rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow, and peace.